You said you're going to take Jalen Hurts right now over Dak Prescott? Really? Yeah. When even later on, we're going to talk about his whole receiver. When they said, would you take someone, that don't mean you're going to take their whole team. When you talk about playing a positional quarterback, I am not taking Jalen Hurts over Dak Prescott. You're a liar. I can take Dak Prescott. I can take Dak Prescott out of Dallas and put him on the bleachers. I can't take Jalen Hurts out of Philly and put him anywhere. Yes, you can. One receiver right now. Yes, you can. Like I don't know what, because they can't throw the ball to him. I'm taking Dak Prescott over Jalen Hurts at the quarterback position because I'm going to take Dak and put him in a new offense, and he can still be successful. I don't know that to be true about Jalen Hurts.
When I hear things like this, you know, from Michael Irvin and other guys, you know what I mean, that talk about Jalen Hurts, it lets me further know that y'all didn't watch Jalen Hurts when he came into the league. That's what it tells me. You feel what I'm saying? All they know and all they see is AJ and Devontae. That's all they seen because they wasn't watching JF. You know what I mean? Now watch this. I don't even want to talk about his rookie year. When his rookie year, when he got in, we was already 3-8-1. We was terrible.
Yeah.
We was terrible. And the same guys we was out there with was basically the same guys we was out there with, especially receiving core-wise, the following year in 2021 when Jalen Hurts became a starter. Jalen Hurts as a starter in 2021, he threw for 3,100 yards, man. As a 1-year starter, first-year starter, threw for 3,100 yards, 16 touchdowns in the air, and he had 9 interceptions. Now, if you want to talk about his 9 interceptions in his first year starting, I know a great quarterback that threw way more interceptions than that, and we're not going to hold it against him or them. I'll name one, Peyton Manning. His first year, he threw for 28 interceptions, and then followed it up with 2 straight years of 15 and 15 more interceptions, a total of 58 interceptions in his first 3 years. We don't hold that against him, so surely I'm not going to hold these 9 interceptions in Jalen Hurts' first year of starting against him, especially when you want to talk about the wide receiver core that we had. We had Devontae Smith, right? That was his rookie year. Everybody knows he was nice coming out of college. Heisman Trophy winner. I mentioned to you earlier in the show, Alabama's my squad in college. I know all about Alabama. I know all about Devontae Smith. You understand me? But when nobody talk about him his rookie year, nobody had him as a top-tier receiver. Nobody had him as a tier 2 receiver. And they still don't talk about him heavily like that right now. So I don't want to hear nothing about that. We had Quez Watkins. Remember him, JF? Quez Watkins.
Fast guy. He was fast.
He was fast as hell, but them hands just wasn't it. He was drafted to us in 2020. Off the team in 2023. And before that, we wanted him gone because he was giving us no fucking production. Supposed to be taking the top off, but the production was terrible. And we haven't forgot that Super Bowl drop either. We haven't forgot that. We have not forgot it. He's no longer in the league. No longer in the league. And then we got Jalen Reagor out there. He got drafted in 2020 along with Jalen Hurts. He got drafted in 2020 with the first pick, with the 21st overall pick in the first round. Do you know Howie Roseman, the guy we love so much, chose him over Justin Jefferson, who went next to the Minnesota Vikings? Jalen Reagor at TCU was known as a punt returner, not a wide receiver that you draft with the first round 21st overall pick. No, he's a guy you get in the 6th round to go fucking take some punts back to the house, and he didn't do that. You feel what I'm saying? He's also became a journeyman. Jalen Reagor was with us from 2020 to 2023, 22 to 24 with the Vikings, 23 to 25, he was with the Pats, and now this year, he's with the Chargers. He's a journeyman, bro. Goddamn, he like Papa was a Rolling Stone. Wherever he lay his head, that's his goddamn home. He can't stay nowhere. You feel what I'm saying? And then we had Greg Ward. Remember him, JF? Do you know him, Michael Irvin? Hell no, you don't. Why? Because he's an undrafted free agent, signed from the practice squad because we had injuries and shit like that. He's also a guy who played quarterback in college. This is nowhere near an elite receiving core. We had Dallas Goedert back then as well, like I mentioned. They don't even talk about him. Just imagine what they were saying about him in 2021. Absolutely nothing. So this is nowhere near an elite receiving core. This ain't even middle of the pack, JF. And we went 9-8 led by Jalen Hurts, 9-8 and went into the playoffs. This is pre-A.J. Brown and way pre-Saquon Barkley. 3,100 yards with this mediocre at best, below mediocre receiving squad lets me know that this man is a baller. It lets me know that he has the ability to elevate the level of the play from the players around him. Dak Prescott, who he'll take over Jalen Hurts, has had multiple top 5 offenses and top 5 defenses to go along with it. He also had Kellen Moore for years to give them top and number 1 offenses. That's the same Kellen Moore who was with Dallas the year before he was with us, or a year before us, and came to us and won a Super Bowl with us, and Jalen Hurts was the quarterback. It ain't Kellen Moore's fault that Dak Prescott throwing away interceptions to the other team in the playoffs. Yeah. Watching Jalen Hurts with that team and that receiver core in 2021 is like watching basketball, right? And you got a guy out there that's balling, and you're looking at the players around him like, man, these dudes, he carrying the team. He carrying the damn team, just like he carried the team in rushing yards that year with 784 yards and 10 more rushing touchdowns on the ground. Well, he was carrying the fucking team, and you look like man, if that dude has some killer, he has some killers out there, some dogs out there. Oh yeah, they'd really be like that. That's what Jalen Hurts was dealing with. Guys wasn't really like that. He has that ability to elevate the play. Ain't no QB out here winning with bums, JF, mediocre wide receivers, unless they got a 2000 Ravens defense. That's the only way they're doing it. Michael Irvin had no bum-ass quarterback. Jerry Rice didn't have no bum-ass quarterback, or should I say Joe Montana wasn't throwing to no bum-ass wide receivers. Steve Young, Dallas Cowboys had a loaded team on both sides of the ball in their heyday in the early 90s. Tom Brady wasn't throwing the bombs. Peyton Manning wasn't throwing the bombs. Look at Jared Goff. He's had squads with the Detroit Lions. They ain't even played in February yet. He has that ability, bro. You know what I'm saying? And he like to say that Jalen Hurts can't get A.J. Brown the ball. I told you I was going to bring up the stats. So right here. The A.J. Brown bit came to us in 2022. The first year, 88 catches, 1,496 yards, 11 touchdowns on the year. Wow. Who was throwing him the ball in? 2023, 106 catches, 1,456 yards, and 7 touchdowns. And that's when we had Brian Johnson as the offensive coordinator, who was sorry as hell. And I talked about it all year long. He went from an offensive coordinator back down to a passing game coordinator. He's on the sideline with the Washington fucking Commanders. When you're an offensive coordinator and you leave, it's not to go down, it's to go up to get a head coaching job. And he was nowhere near good enough to do that because he was fired at the end of the goddamn season. Michael Irvin, let's talk about 2024. A.J. Brown had 67 catches for 1,079 yards and 7 touchdowns. And guess what, Michael Irvin? He missed 5 fucking games. 5 games. So don't tell me Jalen Hurts can't throw the ball. Don't tell me he can't get A.J. Brown the ball. And don't tell me he can't go to another team and get shit done, because he showed you he could do shit with little to nothing, and he did that. He wasn't in the MVP discussion for nothing in 2022 and 23. In 2022, he was the front runner for MVP. He had to miss those 2 games toward the end of the year and came back and picked up where he left off, and they gave that shit to Pat Mahomes. Pat Mahomes won that shit by default. It's like a boxing match, JF. Remember Tank Davis and Lamont Roach? Tank Davis is the much bigger name. Lamont Roach is not. If it's close, they're going to give it to Tank Davis or a draw, whatever the case may be. And that's what they did to Jalen Hurts when they gave that shit to fucking Pat Mahomes. And in the year after that, he was the front runner again for willing us to victories, because the offensive coordinator was terrible. Even the defense was atrocious. I could walk my grandmother in a wheelchair to the other end of the fucking field and get a fucking touchdown. That's how horrible it was. And if we didn't have those drives when we had the ball last 4 times, because Jalen Hurts led us to 4 game-winning drives that year. If we didn't have the ball last, we were going to get scored on and the game was over, like the Cardinals did us, and they wasn't as good as they were now. Yep. You feel what I'm saying? Preach. Don't fucking tell me Jalen Hurts is not that guy. Don't tell me he can't get the ball. And Stephen A. Smith asked a question. He said, Michael Irvin. No, he said, what? Listen. He said, no, he made a statement. He said, well, they're not asking him to do that. They're not asking him to do that. And Michael Irvin said, well, if they're not asking him to do it, if he's capable of doing it, why come they not having him do it? God damn it, that's the same thing we want to know, because we've seen him do it with Jalen fucking Reagor, Greg Ward, Quez Watkins, motherfucker. That's why we want to know the same thing. You understand? Bro, it's a new offensive coordinator. And in fact, goddammit, he's had a new offensive coordinator the last 9 out of 10 years in his fucking career dating back to college. That's a new playbook every year. That's new verbiage every year and different players throughout the year. So don't tell me you can't go to another team with Jalen Hurts and he balled the fuck out when he did it with guys that was bagging fucking groceries and is no longer in the league no more and threw for over 3,100 and threw for 3,700 when A.J. Brown got there of 2022 and 2024 or 2023. Fuck is you talking about? Keep Jalen Hurts' name out your mouth. Maybe if he had the same OC every year, like guys be having, they get to grow with their OC, and it's not a new language, it's not a new verbiage, it's not a new playbook every year. Maybe we wouldn't be having these offensive coordinator problems. Michael Irvin, keep his name out your mouth and put some respect on his name because he did it with little to nothing. And that's facts. Get it right. That's all I got to say.
Under the lights, speaking of facts, double the price, yeah.